How much do you think someone would need to retire in their 40s to support a family of 4?
If they retired in 2026?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's say they're 40 years old.
Oh, they want to retire early?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty wild. Well, I wouldn't recommend it, first of all.
Why?
I've never met someone who can sustain that, because the personality type to be able to retire at 40 with a huge nest egg, they're just simply too ambitious to just go full stop. It's like a marathon runner doing the marathon and saying, I am never running again. They're just going to be jonesing for that next thing. They're just too goal-oriented to then just stop and have no ambition and sit on a beach. It gets old fast. Even if you want to travel internationally, great, you go on the trip and eventually you just want, a McDonald's hamburger and to sleep in your own bed. And so I think there's a fallacy that retiring early, I love the idea of retiring early or being work optional. That's what I love. That's it's kind of the screw you money, where you hate you hate your boss, your job is toxic, whatever. You can just go, I'm out. I don't need this anymore. And your assets create enough income to cover your expenses. I think it's a great goal to have, for your assets to cover your expenses and spit off enough income to do that. But I think the idea that you're going to do nothing is the scary part, because those people have so much value to add to the economy. If they're making probably a couple $100,000 and socking most of it away to be able to retire at 40. If you think about starting from 25 to 40, 15 years, you are just piling money away, probably to the tune of a savings rate of 50, 60% to be able to do that. So how much would you need? It depends on your lifestyle. Some people want to live this sort of, and you know this, there's the lean fire all the way to fat fire, from financially independent, retire early. So we're talking, I can live off $750,000 nest egg to I need 10 million plus just to survive. And what I found, because I've been looking into these communities, the goalpost always moves. Everyone is so scared to pull the trigger, and all the comments go, dude, the math checks out. You're fine to retire. You got $6 million and your expenses are $100,000 a year. Go enjoy your life if you want to quit. But most people are so scared, and it's not about the money. I think it's about the purpose and value and identity they feel in the work that they do and what's going to happen on the other side when they're just sitting at home.
I think a lot of it is that they plan for the downside. Because I've seen a lot of those posts. I'm on Reddit Fat Fire every single day, and I see those where it's
and they're almost detached from reality.
Liquid, and I'm doing this.
If the average person went to the Fat Fire subreddit, they would go, "These are the most out of touch idiots I've ever met." They got $14 million, and they're saying it's not enough, right? That's essentially most of the posts in there. They're all sort of well, I have this much, but I don't know. I'm still a little gun shy, because they're scared of the future, which is kind of what got them here.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to have some control over their future, and yet they are so controlled by their mind, by their own prison they've created.
And what would you tell those people?
I tell them to let go and let God and go find work you enjoy doing, and don't worry about the dollar amount at this point. Because truly, they have earned their way to financial freedom by all stretches of the imagination. And so now it's going, dude, if you can't learn to live off of $10 million, then you'll never be able to live. And I think, truthfully, what they're missing is a real purpose in life, because their sole purpose was get to this number. They get to the number and they go, well, I guess there needs to be a bigger number, because I can't let go of the one thing that was keeping me alive, this weird financial goal. So that's the part that scares me, is there's no real foundation other than, well, I want to be able to work out more, or, enjoy travel more. I think you just need a deeper purpose than that. And some people avoid starting families. They avoid getting married. They avoid having kids because they think that is a deterrent to their financial goal.
And what purpose do you recommend for those people?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think getting married and having kids gives you an immense sense of purpose. And it's not to say that if you're single, you don't have purpose, but I think there's a newfound sense of purpose that forces you to become more selfless and be less inward focused, when you've got to raise these kids and you want to do it right.
And what if they already have kids? Because it seems like a lot of those posts, they already have kids.
Yeah, if they're married, they have kids. I do think faith plays a big part of it. I think without faith underpinning a lot of this, it does feel a little bit meaningless. This sort of capitalistic rat race. We're here for 70 years, then we're in the grave. So what's the point of anything? You sort of have an existential crisis if you don't have a bigger picture and a bigger thing to live for. And so I think faith plays a big part. Family plays a big part. Your health plays a big part, because we see a lot of these people are burnt out, stressed, high blood pressure, out of shape. And so if you're able to focus on your health, your relationships, your family, your work, and your faith, you are so well-rounded that you're going to have a great life no matter how much money you make or have.
So then in order to retire, let's say someone does want to retire early, how much would they need in a low cost of living, medium cost of living, and a high cost of living area?
Man, I wish there was a magic number. It'd be so fun to spit it and everyone goes, this guy crushed it. Again, it depends on your lifestyle, your expenses. But if you kind of go, how about this? We can kind of go with like a low, middle, high lifestyle and how much I think as a blanket number I would like to have in a nest egg retiring in your 50s. What are we talking?
Or then let's do 50 years old.
I think it's an easy, if you want me to just blanket it, I would say 1 million, 2 million, 3 million would get you very far. That's not to say it's going to cover every situation, every family, every level of household expenses. But I think when you look at the stair step of that, you go, it would take a long time to deplete that if you only took out what you needed. $3 million for most people in a nest egg, they'd be set for life. Now, if you spend 20 grand a month, may not get you that far. But for most people, let's say the average household expenses are between $3,000 and $7,000. For most people, that's plenty. If they're not, just milking this nest egg.
Susie Orman says $5 million.
That would be comforting. But I think to tell someone that they need $5 million by the age of 40 is insane.
50.
By 50. Still, that's a very aspirational goal that only personal finance nerds. Now, if there's an 18-year-old who watches your channel or my channel, or even in their 20s, it's very achievable. If you can make a good income, household income of, let's say, $80,000 to $150,000, you have a great investment rate, you have no consumer debt, you get that mortgage paid off and then invest that mortgage payment for the rest of your life, you can get there. And I plan on having more than $5 million when I retire. So it's not to say that I couldn't live on less, but the more I have, the more impact I can have. The more I can create generational wealth, the more I can give to my church or nonprofits that I care about. And so I think making money has been villainized and having a ton of money has been put on an unhealthy pedestal.
Now, I'm sure I don't need to say this, but buying a home is usually one of the largest and most important financial decisions you'll ever make. And with rates moving around, it's easy to feel the pressure to act fast. But the truth is, the right time to buy or refinance is when you're financially ready.
That's why today's sponsor, Churchill Mortgage, stands out. They're not a transactional lender. They're a trusted guide focused on helping you build a smart, long-term plan for homeownership.
And what really makes Churchill different is their focus on readiness. They walk you through your entire financial picture and help you understand what you could truly afford, not just what you could qualify for. It's way more than just a mortgage. It's a strategy.
And we've actually had Dave Ramsey on the podcast before, so we've talked firsthand about his philosophy around debt-free living and financial peace. Churchill has been his trusted mortgage company for over 30 years, which says a lot about how aligned they are with that long-term planning.
They also have a 4.9 rating on Google and were named the Newsweek top nationwide mid-size lender based on client ratings. That kind of trust doesn't happen by accident. So if you're thinking about buying a home or refinancing, get a customized plan built around your goals at churchillmortgage.com/coffee.
Again, that is churchillmortgage.com/coffee to learn more and to see what the smarter mortgage looks like for you. This is a paid advertisement, NMLS ID 1591, NMLS consumeraccess.org, equal housing lender.